Howdy there. So I saw Thor the other day, and I had a fantastic time. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a solid 8. And there's something about the film that I'm still been trying to formulate into words that I still don't feel that I've captured it. But I feel like it's the first true comic book movie I've seen. You know, they make no attempt to ground it in an earthly reality. And instead rely on the fantastic, iconic imagery, action, spectacle. And now I think it's kind of weird, and I'm not really sure about what I'm trying to say, but I know that Batman Begins and Dark Knight, to me, are like watching filmed versions of Batman comic books. They take Batman out of the comic books, put him in this world as best they can, and you know, it transforms it from more of a comic book into just what would it be like if it were actually happening. So yes, I think Batman Begins and Dark Knight are perfect examples of the Batman mythos, the storyline, that Batman feel. They're perfect for that, but it's not as grand, you know. It loses something in the translation from taking it to this world, this universe that Batman inhabits, and taking it to our world. Thor does not mess with that. We are in Thor's world, and even our planet, which is in their universe, is not really like it is in reality. I hope that's making some kind of sense. And I think it's the first, Iron Man, even though Iron Man is in the Marvel Universe, it's still, I feel, tried to put it in in today's, counter-terrorism and world that we live in, where, again, Thor is from another planet, another realm, and that was expertly conveyed. Again, it felt like a comic book. It captured a sense of wonder and spectacle that I don't think I felt since, maybe when I was a kid watching Superman 2. Not even that the Superman Reborn, what was it? Superman Returns? Not even that. I mean, even though it put Superman with the powers that I would believe Superman would have, it still was boring. It still didn't have any fun. It still didn't have any spectacle, and it still did things that I thought Superman could not do. That sounds maybe like too much of a fanboy, but Thor really is escapist. I mean, really escapist. Just no shreds of reality in the film, which I think is welcome. When you read a comic book, you don't want it to be realistic. You want it to be fantastical. You want your imagination to be able to go somewhere to experience something that is not real. And that's what Thor does very well. I really enjoyed the movie. I hope I get to see it again. I give it a solid 8. It's about Thor. He's banished from his homeworld of Asgard because he reignites a, centuries-old war. He's cast out. He's stripped of his power by his father, Odin. He's cast out to Earth to learn how to become a true hero. And when he is responsible, when he has learned what is important, he will once again be a god. The movie stars, oh gosh, Anthony Hopkins, he's Odin. Natalie Portman is the romantic interest. Luckily, there's not too much romance. Stellan Skarsgård. I thought his casting, like for a while, he kept me uneven for the film. Because I thought it was weird that they would have Stellan Skarsgård, who cannot help but be creepy and slimy, and you know, I just didn't get his casting until the very, very end, and then everything made perfect sense. So even though it was a challenge to accept, when the picture was complete, I thought, well, of course. Who else is in there? I'm not sure of... We've got some new faces here. Oh, Idris Elba from The Wire and The Office. I think he's a great actor. He was unrecognizable in this film as far as I'm concerned. He plays the protector, whoever watches over the transporting machine. The fellow who plays Loki I thought was very good. I'm not sure of his name. I thought it was very good. He made a very good bad guy. Didn't, you know, go all out. Was more subtle with it. I enjoyed his performance. I thought he was very good. Though I can't remember his name right now. And I believe Thor was played by Chris Hemsworth. I'm not entirely certain of that name, but I believe it's Hemsworth. He was in the first few minutes of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. He does very good here. I think he was Thor. I totally bought that he was Thor. So he may have had not as much to do as other characters, but emotionally, he, I was sold. I was sold on him. I'm constantly impressed by Natalie Portman. I mean, not only is she obviously beautiful, I think she's a great actress. She found like little subtle character-driven things to do in pretty much every one of her scenes that I noticed and appreciated. So I thought that was very cool. And I think the reason the actors were given so much leeway and room to work is because the film was directed by an actor, by a, classically trained master thespian, Kenneth Branagh, who has done many films as well, but you ask me, Kenneth Branagh is a Shakespearean actor. He's a filmmaker second, whatever, but first and foremost, he's one of the world's great Shakespearean actors. He for our generation, practically defines Hamlet. So, I think his expertise and talents and artistry also lend well to all the other actors working in the film. He wanted to make this very character-driven. It's funny that you care so much about the characters in the film. And that's what you want. That's what you want. It's very funny, much funnier than I thought it was going to be. I laughed quite a bit. I thought it was action-packed. I thought the special effects were second to none. Really, truly, it was a spectacle. A dizzying array of colors, really. It's everything a big summer movie should be, Now I'm sitting here and I'm listening to myself, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should give it higher than an 8. Why am I not giving it higher than an 8? Well, it is pretty simple. I want to say something like 6 people get credit for writing this. Thor was in development hell for a long time. It went through very many incarnations before it finally got to the big screen. And I don't know, sometimes you can tell that perhaps everything isn't as, I don't know, detailed, or just maybe lumped in together some ideas. I mean, you're flying back and forth all the time from Earth and Asgard. It is kind of like the Earth stuff is much funnier, much more lighthearted, where on Asgard you've got to pay attention, and all of the, what is it, exposition? All of the exposition happens there, pretty much. I think I'm using that word right. Awesome battles. Really, again, I think this is the first movie to truly capture a comic book. The spirit and the feeling and the wonder of reading a comic book is right there on the screen. So I think that's an outstanding feat, and I don't think it's been done before. Again, I made my argument with the Batman films, which I think the Batman films are perfect examples of a Batman story. But not the comic book, you know, not the feeling you get. And I think that's what Thor delivers. So really, I'm really impressed with Thor. I want to see it again. I saw it in 2D. Do not see movies in 3D unless they were shot with 3D cameras and used shot with 3D film. If they have the camera and they have the film, then you pay the extra money to see it in 3D. If they didn't, if they do it in post, it degrades the image. It takes away some color, like up to 14% of the color away. You pay more for an inferior product. So if you're going to see Thor, see it in 2D. You need to see it in 2D. There's no reason not to see it in 2D. So that's the version I saw. That, I hope I get to see it again as well. Because I had such a great time. So that's Thor. Solid 8. Excellent initiation into the summer blockbusters. It's basically, for me, it's the movie to beat this summer in terms of spectacle and the reason you want to go to a summer blockbuster. So that's Thor. Definitely see it. You know, do it. Do it. Thanks.